started, I just want to announce, even though just in case like the last thing that I said in the live disappears, which it totally could, I'm doing a 24-hour flash sale on the website. The link is everywhere now. And it's flash sale, all one word. And it's a 24-hour sale, so today and tomorrow, and it's $99 off. So what I wanted to do was interview Nicole. Nicole, thank you for doing this for me. She was a member of our first classroom, and she is going to just answer some questions that I feel like I've been getting a lot of people interested in. Let me silence this really quick. And so we'll just get started with that. So Nicole, what motivated you to join the class?
Well, I've done years, like 10 plus years of self-study of photography. I've had, a DSLR for that long. I read endless amounts of articles, watched endless amounts of YouTube videos. But there's just that component of having interaction with somebody who has experience, is established, that can give you pointers, because when you don't really know where you're going wrong, it feels like you can't make any headway. So it just happened to be a timing thing for me, because I was deciding, we're COVID, and I'm like, okay, I want to be able to pursue something that I'm really passionate about. And it really was timing that I started joining some photography groups, and I happened to join this group, and I think maybe the next day, I saw the notification about your class. And really what caught my attention was that it had a live interaction component to it, because you can do workshops and that kind of thing, but it's all self-guided. So that was what caught my attention, was that there was a human being that I was going to be able to interact with, and the mentorship component of, okay, somebody can look at my work and then give me direction. Here's where you're going wrong, or here's what's good about this piece of work. So that was the main deciding factor for me to join the class.
So I had no idea you had actually been studying for that long. Through this whole period, I just thought like this was a new thing for you. So 10 years, wow. So when you look at like the pictures that you took prior to the class, where do you feel like you were prior to the class versus after the class? Like, it's just as far as image quality, what you're actually producing in pictures.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I know you didn't ask for me to post those before pictures, but I felt compelled to post those before pictures, because that's exactly it. When I went back and looked at my work, I can see, okay, I don't even have, the main components of putting together a good photo considered in my previous work, which at the time was more hobby work and that sort of thing, or just personal work. But still, I look at it and think that's not even close to the representation of like what I've learned through your class and narrowing down lighting and all that style and everything. So definitely it's well, I mean, if anybody's on here and they go back and look, I posted it, was it yesterday, I think, or the day before, right before and after. So, and my actors, they still have a little work to do, but still a huge improvement.
Now, before the class though, when you looked at what you were producing, did you think like it's good enough? Or did you realize like I really have a long way to go?
Yeah, I mean, I felt like because I started just before I joined your class, I started kind of trying to figure out lighting on my own. But of course, I didn't have the right equipment, which that was something that I really appreciated in your class, is that I could post a picture and you were able to, just like this, look at it and say, okay, here's where you're going wrong with the lighting. So, I mean, I wouldn't say that I felt my work was stellar by any means, but I also didn't think it was as terrible as what I think it is now. Like being able to look back at it now, it's like, oh yeah, I was way off the mark on that. But at the time, time, that actually was me progressing to where I am now. So
When you look at the stuff that you've recently done, like the stuff that you posted in the group, are you proud of that? The new stuff?
yeah, I am proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was shocked when I saw it. I was like, oh my goodness, it's like it's a whole different it's somebody just with a camera and then it's a photographer. Like I would go to you to have my
Mm.
picture taken. Like it was a good difference. Welcome, Paige. We're interviewing Nicole, and this will go on into the group later on as well. So image quality has improved obviously drastically. What about your pricing? Were you charging at all previous to the class?
No, I really was just, well, one, I never had the confidence to be able to even go there. So that was another reason I was joining your class, was I felt like I needed some sort of validation to say, okay, you're approved to go off now and charge people. So right now, that's kind of the very like last thing that I'm putting together for the portfolio I'm sending it to you is figuring out the whole cost of doing business component, right? So I will say though that even what I thought that I was going to be charging is not going to be what I'm going to be charging, because now that I know all the components of what goes into running your business, plus your time and all of your um, equipment and all of that stuff has to be considered. So I'm going to definitely be charging more than what I would have charged if I was just saying, okay, I'm going to start my business now.
Right,
Um,
right.
so it's definitely different than what I had in mind.
So, what part of the class do you think benefited you the most? Like, which lesson or which
I think
factor do you think helped you the most?
um, it's hard to narrow down just one thing, because I feel like you did a really good job of touching on a lot of different things that I personally was struggling with. And I think that's a good part of the class. One, with them being small, because they're intimate enough that you still are an individual. And well, I remember even from our classroom, we were all in very different stages of photography. So our needs were all very different. And for me, it's, the confidence thing always was very hard for me. I still struggle with that, the imposter syndrome, that kind of thing. But then also, focusing on the lighting, what is too much editing, what's not too much editing, like all of that kind of roundabout information that you gave us. I took something from every lesson, I feel.
Okay. So, do you, as far as your like goals now, where are you in your business? What are your goals? And are they the
So,
same that you pictured previous to the class?
no, they're not the same. And I know my plan kind of has been up and down all over the place all throughout this whole journey. But originally, I thought, okay, I want to be like a family photographer type thing, do portraits. It seems like that's kind of the path that all of the newer photographers go, who don't necessarily have a huge portfolio behind them. And it seems like people are willing to hire photographers like that. So I guess I kind of put my expectations pretty low. And then I thought, okay, well, I prefer to do studio stuff so that I can have control of the environment. And of course, now my family and I are in the middle of planning a move, so I don't have a studio space right now. So I had to, adjust my plan to say, okay, I don't want to keep delaying a launch for a business, so let's just launch and I can do some outdoor stuff, which worked fine. Actually, all those pictures that I posted yesterday, those were all done outside. So I'm just trying to make that work. But now I've, even from your advice, have short-term goal and a long-term goal. So the short-term goal is to, get my name out there, keep building my portfolio and show off my work. And then when I move and I have my own studio set up in the house, then I plan on specializing in an area and having more of an experience for a client. That's going to be my plan.
Awesome. And do you feel like, because I know right now you currently are employed, you've been employed the whole entire time. Do you feel like this will ever be like your career, like a full-time thing, or do you plan on it just being like in your free time?
I think it could be, yeah. I mean, for now, because it's going to be, you know, with moving and everything, it will have to be okay. Sort that out, and then get the studio up and running, and then I can kind of transition more. But definitely, I could see. I think if you just find, if you want to be the go-to person for whatever it is you're going to specialize in, is kind of the advice that you gave, and I think about that more and more, and I realize that you really can just perfect something, or like I said, an experience. Even if I'm still working on developing my skills, if I can, offer something different, then maybe it'll be easier for me to be successful in a market where there are so many. At least where I live, there are a lot of photographers that you can find to do family pictures.
Right. So if somebody is on the fence, and I know there's a lot of somebody's on the fence right now because my website keeps blowing up on that page. And so if they're thinking of, should I? There's so many different classes. Some are cheaper, some are more expensive, some are work at your own pace. What would you say to them? Like if they're like deciding on doing the class or not?
I would say if you're really dedicated and you want to put the work in, I mean, it far exceeded what I expected to get out of the class. That's for sure. Like I said, I was most interested in the mentorship and having somebody critique my work, but I got way more out of it than I ever expected. And you're not going to get that from, doing a self guided workshop or that kind of thing, or watching a YouTube video and trying to, um, you know, reenact that same thing. It's never going to be the same as having someone give you something to accomplish, and you go out and you actually do it and you submit it, and somebody can tell you, okay, here are the improvements that you need to make. To me, that was definitely the best part of the class.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Nicole, so much for this. I'm sorry about like the mix up earlier with
You're
live.
welcome.
Hopefully this all
That's
posts
okay.
good on there. I'm excited to see your finished portfolio. I know we're close to that. In the meantime,
It's
if
almost done.
if you guys are thinking about doing the class, thank you guys for if you've made it this far for watching the interview. Nicole is just one of a few students that I would say really tried and put the effort in and has been very, very successful with this. So if you're thinking about doing it, the link is everywhere. If you don't have it, message me, but go to the website and put on flash sale in the coupon and you'll get $99 off the class for today and tomorrow. So thank you so much, Nicole.
No problem. Also, if anyone has questions and they wanted to ask, they could always just message me too. Find me in a group and message me. I have no problem with that.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Take
Okay.
care.
No problem. Take care.